Welcome to the Cardboard Cave Podcast, the #1 show in Puerto Rico about trading card games. Thanks for Alter Sleeves for sponsoring our show. Use our affiliate link or code CardboardCave for 5% off your order and spice up your commander. Don't forget to follow us on our social media or listen to us in all major audio platforms. Thanks for being part of our community, and please like, share, and comment below. Plus enjoy the live show.
Hey guys, welcome to the Cardboard Cave, a podcast, and we're kind of back now. We're trying a new format. I'm going to just explain it very quickly. Now all of our videos are going to be pre-recorded, and as well they will be live on our YouTube channel every Thursday around 12 at noon or 1 o'clock. As well, when it goes live on YouTube, it will be available on audio. So all the audio links will be down below on the description. And I hope that you guys enjoy this new way of us bringing you guys content. It was a little bit much more easier for all of us. And as well is to keep you guys all the time with new content. Plus, we're already in talks to create additional content on the side for all of you. So let's go ahead and present everybody on the board, because today we're going to be talking about Wilds of Eldraine, our top 3 cards of the set. So I have here on my side the one and only, the master of the dark arts, JP.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, JP?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk about food.
That's amazing. And then we have the one and only, our favorite director of them all, the one and only Orengo.
Hi, what's up?
What's up, Orengo? How you doing?
I'm good. Ready to talk about cards that I was not paying attention through spoiler season, so I learned a bunch of new things in this new set. So yeah.
It's really interesting because, as well as myself, I was not paying attention to the spoilers. I was just posting them on TikTok. I didn't post them all because I totally forgot. As well, that we have those new art cards. You know, they did the same thing as Strixhaven, that we have reprints but with pretty artwork, and as well we have an anime treatment for them as well. So we have a reprint of a reprint of a reprint in this set. So it's good for us. Doubling season, it's
super cheap.
It's super cheap now. So if you guys have not yet been able to get doubling season, try and get it now. So guys, all over the board, I have not yet been able to play the set, not even in arena, so I have not yet tested it out. But what do you guys think about the set? Will it change the meta game? I know that there are already cards that are going in the high 40s of the set, but what do you guys think about the set?
I think it's pretty strong for the standard metagame, and I really want to talk about how I feel like they've finally, like, I feel like this is the start of the power creep being leveled out. There's some cards that are very, very, very strong, but their effects are seen similar with other cards that have been proven to be like very good, but never broken. A good example of this is the Virtue of Knowledge, which we'll talk about later, because Yarok, the Desecrated, does the same thing for the same amount of mana. There's already an Elish Norn that does the same thing for the same amount of mana, and that cost to effect is very, very good in terms of that. Another example is the White Crater Hoof, but we'll talk about these cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta say, I really do like the set. One of the things that I noticed is that one of the main creature types I imagined is going to either have mono blue or Dimir is fairies. Fairies has a lot of good cards around. There's even a counter that I actually researched. It's Spell Stutter is 1 in the blue, counter target spell and lets its controller pays 2 plus an additional 1 for each fairy you control. So in standard, this card is like kind of ridiculous if you think about it, because there's so many fairies that you can flash out. There are a lot of fairies that they're very low cost in these sets that are still available for standard. So I think that there will be like either a mono blue like fairy control deck, fairy tribal deck, or a Dimir one. And it would be interesting to see it. I'm with JP. There's a lot of cards here that for the standard metagame is great. We will talk about that Crater Hoof bunny. But how about you, Orengo? What do you think about the set as well?
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys. It's very powerful, but it's not like outright broken, at least not at initial viewing. What I also like is that we're doing this whole thing again where we are reprinting old Magic cards in an interesting way, like we did with Strixhaven, where they reprint classical sorcery and instant spells. Like we did with Brothers War, where we reprinted some artifacts, and now we're doing enchantments. And it's great because usually the ones that get reprinted in these standard sets really drop in price. And the fact that they also include alternate treatments to the already alternate treatment that they had means that they will really dip in price, but while also maintaining the whales and the collectors at bay, because then you have like what's called a confetti foil, which is a very exclusive, very unique foil. So if you want to waste $200 on a very distinct and very different type of foiling, you can do that. And if you want a cheap doubling season, you can also get that, and it's pretty nice. Like I'm really happy with the card selection of the reprints and the actual cards within the set, because they're very strong for standard, but there's some cool stuff for commander, especially in regards to like the adventure mechanic. Like they really lean in hard on the adventure mechanic this time around, obviously because it was a fan favorite from last time, so they like upped the ante for this one, and they really like even gave us like potentially a very staple-y type of commander for the adventure archetype. So it's really cool. It's a really cool set. The sad thing is that I guess people are very aware of this set, but since it came like so close with Commander Masters, like it just like melded together to me. That's why I couldn't like follow the spoiler season from this, because I was like, I saw Commander Masters, I took a break, and then I saw like, oh my god, we're already in Eldraine, you know. So maybe that was the only detriment to the set, but who knows.
I completely agree, because me myself, like when I saw for instance recently one of our friends, Carlos, he was selling a Mox Diamond. I'm like, hey dude, I'll buy it for you. He gave it to me in a great price, but then when people were like talking about, hey, Wilds of Eldraine, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, I'm like, isn't that coming like in another month? And then when I see the scheduling, it's like, oh, this weekend is the pre-release. What? I was shocked. I was like, holy cow, I didn't even have a time to like sit down and look into cards. I've been looking into the cards because due to the new MTG ambassador program, that it's like many content creators are getting the product like super way earlier from release, and they can do content of it, you know. So I've been like paying attention to like commander decks or cards that I might probably get in the future. But one of the things that I'm really intrigued about is the fluctuation of prices for some cards. Now I'm gonna have a very, very big example. It's not that big, but the Unnatural Growth card from Midnight Hunt, it's a $6 to $4 card, depending on the style that you have the card. The Unnatural Growth with the showcase of Eldraine, it's like $2. Exactly as well like Intruder Alarm. Intruder Alarm a couple of months ago was like a $30 card, and you can find it now for like $2. You know, it's kind of ridiculous, but hey, it is what it is. Blind Obedience is like $2 as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's really good.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's great.
It is good for people.
Yeah, I have maybe a controversial opinion. But I'm not sure. I saw someone talking about it, and I had thought the same thing. I don't like the Enchanting Tale anime versions.
Oh, okay, the ones that are like animated, the anime ones.
Yeah. So when you compare them to the special border, I'm comparing this, even though it's not the same. The special border for Kamigawa
Mm-hmm.
was anime-like,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it fit for the theme of Kamigawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you look at the Mystical Archive from Strixhaven, and it fit the theme for Strixhaven. So the Enchanting Tales, the like storybook-looking ones, fit the theme, but the anime ones kind of look like they're out of place.
They're there because the last time they did the anime thing, it was a hit. So now they're like,
Exactly.
oh, we have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh players here. We should just appease to them. That's why you have another version that doesn't fit at all in a fairy tale aesthetic.
Yeah. And the thing
You're
is
right.
that
JP's correct, by the way. I agree with JP. But it's good for us because since it's so many different variations of the same card, it really drops everything in price. And I think actually the anime versions are the more expensive ones, while the actual ones that are fitting with the aesthetic, like the fairy tale aesthetic, is actually cheaper, if I'm not mistaken. So
well,
that's even
right
good for us.
now,
That just
Right
means more
now-
people are degenerate weebs.
Exactly,
now-
and that's why WotC did it. That's the thing.
so right now, this is where it gets interesting. So land tax, a very popular card in Commander. Right now, it's going for $13-14. The anime borderless one, non-foil, but foil is around $75. It did tank in price. It was selling around, depending on the store, it was selling around $150, $125. But now it dipped price, and it's still not released. Ristic Study though. Ristic Study in anime borderless is going for $68. Non-foil.
Because it's Ristic Study, and I think it's the one where the girls like laughing or something. I think.
No, that's
No,
a smothering. That's a smothering.
That's Smothering
Tide.
Tide.
That's the Smothering Tide, right? You're right. Which is
Oh
funny.
my
I
god,
love-
you can't pay the 2 mana? Well, poor. Look at
I
all
know.
the money I can make.
I love that one because of that. It's so great.
You know what card I really do love, and I want to find it foil, is Blind Obedience, the Enchanting Tales version. I have the one for Warhammer, but the Enchanting Tales card looks so gorgeous, and I imagine it foil, and it has to look amazing as well. So, there's a lot of things in this set that you're like, oh, okay, this is in this set, in this artwork, I'm down for it. You can find some cool things. One of the things that I can say is that I think I've mentioned this before when we used to make unboxings and everything in the channel, and I really do wish that I would have withstand the box that I got to record content, but me and my wife were super excited about it. So we got a set booster box, and we pulled 11 mythics in the box, and we pulled from the list the counterbalance. So we got a really hefty, and in that box we got the land tax anime borderless foil. So we got a lot of great cards from the set booster box, and I think that in this now, if you are planning on buying sealed product, I do recommend to continue buying set boosters. Set boosters give you a little bit much more wider range of getting a numerous of rares, but value wise you can sell those rares to people that might need them or keep them for yourself. But I did notice that they have been changing set booster boxes. I don't know from what set, but you're not getting all of the lands full art. You only get half. The rest are gonna be the normal basic lands. I was so mad. I was like, oh man, I want them all full art, but no.
I don't know why they treat it like it's a special thing. It's not special since 2019. I don't understand why they keep insisting on making it special.
I don't know, man. I would say Wizard of the Coast, just make them all full art. That's it.
Yeah, at this point, everything should just be full art. There's no. I think it was a professor who talked about this. One of the secret layers this time around is also full art. I think it's from a very famous, prolific child book illustrator. and he argued like this was cool, like when the secret layers started, like when they did the Godzilla lands, people
Yeah.
were dismissing them and they were undervaluing them. But now all these lands that come out of secret layers, since it's one of each color, it's really overvalued because you can't really make anything with these 5 lands for 30
Mhm.
bucks. So because every single set now contains full arts. Back then, it was like still a rarity of some degree to get full art lands. But now, since it happens every set, it's no longer special. Like if you want to get any, unless they're very coveted, you can get basically any full art at a very reasonable cost. You get multiples of them.
Exactly. And they did test out the whole secret layer having at least a second copy of the color with the Bob Ross lands. You would get 2 islands, 2 forests, 2 mountains, 2 swamps, 2 plains, and each secret layer of the Bob Ross lands would bring you the Evolving Wilds foil. But again, if I'm buying the secret layer for the lands, obviously I got it because it's Bob Ross. Whoever does not know who Bob Ross is, there's a lot of movies and documentaries out there like that you can learn.
Or just
But
watch the shows.
or watch the show, exactly. And I myself said like, okay, yeah, I got the lands because I'm a collector, and I will use some of them for some of my decks, but I wish I could have more because sometimes not everybody, but sometimes you want to have all the lands to be the same art. But who's gonna waste what was the other basic, the pixel lands, the pixel snow covered lands?
Right, those were
20 bucks.
yeah, a piece. No,
A
that's
piece
insane.
is insane,
Mhm, it's insane.
and we're talking about lands that are non-foil as well, and they're still too expensive.
Mhm.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But Wilds of Eldraine, I do like the fact, I think that JP mentioned it, I do like the fact that it brought a certain like power creep to the meta, but it's not like overpowered as its predecessor.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
the power creep is there, but it's not like, hey, I'm a planeswalker that goes down with 3 mana and I make your thing an elk.
Yeah. It's much more fair.
Exactly. This one is like a little bit much more fair. I like the fact, like Orengo mentioned, the whole fact that you can play with the adventure mechanic. It's much more like out there, and bringing more creature types, boosting the creature types with more cards like fairies. Fairies is getting a little bit much more of love in this set, and food as well, continuing the Lord of the Rings food commander deck. So there's more food involved in the set as well. I would give this set, if I would rank, if I would give it a rating, I still have not yet played it in a draft. I might make content for all of you playing a draft. But without playing a draft or standard with this set, I would give it a solid 4 out of 5 without playing the set yet. It's not perfect, but it's there. This is a good set.
I think I'd give it like an 8.4, 8.5 out of 10. Like, 4 out of 5 is pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm. I think I go 3.5, but it's because I haven't played the set. But it all looks pretty solid, like a very solid standard set, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. So let's go to the main topic of today, that it's talking about our top 3 cards. Usually we would talk about the top 5. But in this case, we're talking about the top 3.
So I have an honorable mention.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yes. JP has an honorable mention. Let me go
because
ahead.
Its effect is good, but it's the name in Spanish.
So let's start.
Ooh.
Ale, you're going to be the first contender here.
Okay. The Iron Crag is called, right? The first one? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my three picks. For those who can't see because they're listening or whatever. The first one that I picked was the Iron Crag. The Iron Crag. It's a 2 mana colorless legendary artifact. You can tap it and it produces a colorless. And whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may have the Iron Crag become a legendary equipment artifact named Everflame, Hero's Legacy. If you do, it gains 3, and equipped creature gets +3/+3 and loses all other abilities. The main reason why I like it, it's the stupidest thing, is because it's a mana rock that comes down for 2, and it comes untapped, and it produces mana. And first of all, in Standard, we haven't seen that in a long time. I don't know when was the last time you actually saw a mana rock that actually does this, and it comes untapped. But first of all, that's like an amazing thing. Second of all, yeah, for anyone who has like a cheap commander, like obviously I'm thinking commander. If you have a cheap commander that you want to like bring out faster, this actually helps you a lot. And it has double duty like later on in the game, or even when your commander comes down, you might not need this mana anymore. So then you can just turn this into an artifact to just beat down. Look, you can do a beatdown plan. Or it can even be for another creature. So I like the utility that it has, because it's not relegated to just being a mana rock and that's it. It actually has utility past its initial point. And it's very useful for your commander deck. Obviously, I'm just thinking like Urza stuff. So yeah, that's the first one that I really enjoyed.
I have a thing about this because a lot of people have this confusion.
Okay.
The last text that says "and loses all other abilities" is referring to the Iron Crag itself.
Oh yeah, of course.
Meaning, once it becomes an equipment, it is no longer a mana rock.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder. It is not that it is not meaning that the creature equipped to it loses all other abilities. Is that the Iron Crag itself loses all other abilities, meaning it cannot no longer tap for mana.
Exactly. All you want to do is to like if you're thinking about commander plan, you just want to ramp as fast as you can using this. Once your commander's out, you just turn this into equipment for the rest of the game. Essentially, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So you just want to try to ramp up fast and have this as an equipment, which is a very good equipment. It's like you equip for 3, so it's very vanilla. It's not like an amazing equipment, but the fact that it turns into an equipment when it was most likely just a useless mana rock, it's much better. Like that's why I dig it. And yeah, JP's correct. Like I know people actually had that confusion because I think I saw that on Reddit, so people were a little confused with the wording. But it's like JP said, you don't like your creature's not gonna lose the abilities, which some thought it was like a detriment, but it's much more of a benefit that it just turns into like an artifact.
Mm-hmm.
It just stays as an artifact. So my second one is one of the weird adventure, but it's also an enchantment cards. It's all a cycle, and I liked all of them. But obviously, I had to pick the one that I like the most, which is the blue one. Virtue of Knowledge. It is a 4 colorless and a blue for an enchantment that is also an adventure. Its adventure side reads Vantress Visions. It's called. It's a colorless and a blue for an instant adventure. It says copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it's basically a one-time usage. And then when you actually cast it as this enchantment part, it reads, if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time, which is an ability you've seen numerous times. JP mentioned like Yarok, there's
Elish
Norn, Panharmonicon. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of cards already that we've seen this effect on, but it's nice to see it on a card that basically has double utility, because you can do this one time early in the game, and then when you have open mana and no one's gonna like counter your shit or whatever, you can just like drop it on the battlefield and start doing your shenanigans. It's basically a shenanigan card, a win more card, but I like the versatility, because maybe you just need to like do the Panharmonicon thing once, so it's nice to have it in an instant speed spell, and then when you're set up and you just want to like go do your value stuff, you go and cast it as an enchantment. And finally, the one that also JP mentioned previously, Which, by the way, I didn't know about this card until I started reading all the spoilers, and I saw this, and I had to like a double take. I'm like, wait, did I just read this right? And it's just
Yeah.
costed.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. So it's we're talking about Moonshaker Cavalry. It's 5 colorless and 3 white for a creature spirit knight. It's a flying 6/6, and it reads: whenever Moonshaker Cavalry enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain flying and get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So it's basically a Crater Hoof that, although it does not have haste or trample, right? It has flying and it's in white, which I think that's the important key. Obviously, it's not as broken as Crater Hoof because it lacks the haste, but it makes up for it by being in another completely different color, and it gives flying, so it's still a type of evasion for the deck you want to have. I think it was a professor. He made a video basically today, where he talked about this card. He obviously compared it to Crater Hoof because obviously you have to compare it to Crater Hoof, and he talked about how in green you have so many cards that care about multiple creatures and attacking, and it's weird that you have them only in green and you don't have that many in white. So maybe this is WotC kind of like sort of course correcting that idea of white having more cards that have this type of effect.
They had an article a few months, maybe a year back. I talked about it.
Yeah.
How they're actually doing that course correction. How green is taking a backseat on the creatures, like number of creatures matters, and now all green cares about is the power of the creature, not the number of creatures you have. And so this Moonshaker Cavalry is a primary example of that.
Exactly. And I think it's a chew-in for any commander deck. If you have like a mono white deck, or you have a Celestia deck, or a Tokens Matter deck, like this is just auto-include in all those things. You're gonna have little Crater Hoof, or you're just gonna have this guy first and then Crater Hoof and just super auto win the game. Like you're gonna go insane with these cards. So those are my 3 picks.
Yeah, that card. I remember when they spoiled it, I was like, holy cow, what is this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so these are at random order. So we're gonna present at least Chris's top 3. I have it right here. So this is Chris's top 3. He couldn't make it tonight to the show. So these are his top 3 cards. He has Agatha Soul Cauldron. It's a very popular card that a lot of people are actually looking for. It's a legendary artifact that costs 2 colorless mana. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. So it's a chromatic lantern for activated abilities. Creatures you control with 1/1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
Insane.
And then you can tap it to exile target creature from a graveyard. When a creature card is exiled this way, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Fun fact, the card that you exile is any card. So if there is a card that is bothering you or has flashback of an opponent, I'm exiling your card. So it's a pretty busted card.
This is a card that enables a lot of combos. I think I saw one where it was like with Magda. You had Devoted Druid, and I think it was another combo piece. Maybe JP knows which one I'm talking about.
And well, the only combo I know is the Grist one.
Oh, the Grist one, yeah.
Yeah, because Grist is a creature in the Great Wall. In any other zone other than play, it's a 1/1 insect creature. And so when you exile it with Agatha Soul's Cauldron, all your creatures with +1 counters become Grist, basically. So when you +1 him, you mill a card and then make a 1/1 insect. If you have a way to make that 1/1 insect get a counter, that 1/1 insect can now +1, and now you can just infinitely +1. Because if I'm not mistaken, and no judge has corrected me on this, because I have maybe not corrected me, but I have not seen a correct ruling for this, because this combo was mentioned and it was just like a thing by passing. It was like, oh wow, this is interesting, and then nobody mentioned it again, or at least I haven't seen it again. even though the creature is not a planeswalker, it is activating a planeswalker ability, and thus you can only activate loyalty abilities once per turn, no matter what was activating the ability. So in this case, a creature was activating the ability, and it can only do so once per turn. But let's say you had a metallic mimic naming Insect. So now you exiled Exile Grist +1, and now it has a counter. You make a 1/1 Insect. Oh look, the Insect enters with a counter +1. You mill Insect and just keep on going. You mill your deck. You make. You don't need to mill your deck to make the infinite tokens, but you make infinite tokens, and you have a way to let's say you're in Jund, you have Anger in your graveyard. You have Ace now. You can just attack.
So the combo that I saw is that if you have Agatha's Soul Cauldron and you removed Devoted Druid and Arcbound Ravager, you have Magda on the field. You can tap her. She'll produce a treasure and she'll produce a green. So then you use the Arcbound Ravager to put you'll sack the treasure with the Arcbound Ravager. You'll give her a +1/+1 counter. Then you'll use the -1/-1 counter of Devoted Druid to untap Magda, retap Magda, and then the cycle continues and you produce infinite mana. That's like one of the combos too.
Does an Arcbound Ravager put a counter on itself?
But remember that then it'll put it on Magda. From my understanding, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm incorrect, but
I think you need the Arcbound needs to be in the graveyard.
Exactly.
Like exile. Like both of them need to be exiled. Yeah, both of them needs to be exiled with the Cauldron, and that's infinite green mana.
And that's infinite green mana, so it's kind of insane.
Yeah,
that's just two that we just came up. I'm pretty sure there's a million. Like this card is ridiculously busted.
So the second card is Emodane. The Pyro Hammer is 2 colorless and 2 red legendary creature human knight. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control that targets only a single creature deals damage to that creature, Emodane deals that much damage to each opponent. Is a 4/4. It's really interesting. I think that this creature, if it would have had partner, it would have been good because you could do what is it, Rivals of Ixalan and Ixalan that have a lot of in range dinosaurs.
I mean, but you can so the way that I read it and the way that I think I saw a video talk about it, you basically just do a mono red lightning bolt deck. You just put all the lightning bolts that you have and all the equivalents of lightning bolt. You keep chalking a creature and then you just keep bolting everyone's face.
No, yeah, but that's what I mean. So, but you get the value of the in range as well.
If you want to do in range, but the idea would be to like do it to opponent's creatures because you can kill them. It doesn't really matter. You can kill them outright, and then that 3 damage, 5 damage, 10 damage you do like a single creature. You can do it to each.
This could be what's Oathbreaker?
Yeah, that could be an Oathbreaker deck.
That could be that can be an Oathbreaker right there.
Yeah.
And the final card is Cullen the Fey Blooded. Is 2 and 1 red legendary creature human fairy. It has adventure. It costs that adventure's birthright boon 1 and 1 and white sorcery adventure. Search your library for an aura or equipment card. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle. The card has double strike. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 if for each aura and equipment attached to Kellen the Fey Blooded, and it's a 2/2.
I assume that every time you do the adventure and it goes back to the command zone, you have to pay the command tax for the adventure, or no?
I don't think so.
JP would know, but I don't know if JP's there. I don't think JP's there. JP's not there.
JP is not there. He went on a break.
He went on a road break. So that's my only question, because it all depends. If this card doesn't get command tax, which I assume it has to get to command tax. If it doesn't, like, this card is ridiculous in terms of the type of deck it is. It will be just for aura decks or equipment decks.
I don't think so, because remember, if you do the adventure,
yeah,
If you do the adventure, it goes to the adventure exile zone, and then you can cast him for his mana cost.
Mhm.
Unless you bring him back to your hand,
I already checked. You have to pay the command tax. Okay, we're good.
you can have to pay the
You have
command
to pay.
tax.
Yeah, no matter what. Even if you do the adventure, which makes sense because that would be insane. Like, I don't
Okay.
think they want to make that type of mistake. I assume that you just.
I would have liked the fact. This one thing, one of my commanders that I have created for at least 1v1 format, never tested it out for multiplayer or pods, is Light Pause. Light Pause is a commander that I've done for 1v1.
Yeah.
But I've seen that there's a lot of love for red and white, and I'm here like, damn it, give me something that I can use the red cards as well.
Yeah.
It would have been so broken, but no.
I think it's a pretty good card because since it's 2 mana for the sorcery adventure, you still get like a discount. You would have to pay it twice over, but I think you can just always be like, oh, I'm gonna tutor. It goes exile, then I'll put the creature in play. Oh, it dies. Okay, I'll pay 4 to tutor, and then I'll pay it for 3 to cast it. So
Exactly.
I think it's still good. And I mean, you basically have a tutor on a stick. Like that's insane.
The good thing is that we always, we promote standard, but we always love to say commander.
Oh, commander, always. That is the popular format of Magic.
Exactly.
We can't kid ourselves here. It's
True.
obvious.
Okay, let's see who will be the next. Oh, it's me.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so my top 3 cards. I had to choose the Regal Bunny Corn.
The Tarmogoyf for white.
Yes. It's 1 colorless and white creature rabbit unicorn. Regal Bunny Corn. Power and toughness are equal to the number of non-land permanents you control. So it's Tarmogoyf on a white creature. I like it because, again, this is something that I've noticed in this set. Every color got like the proper love to be as creative as possible for the standard format. Obviously, plus us that we play commander, some of these cards are commander worthy, some of them are just, if you want to do jank. But I really do like the rabbit unicorn. It looks like a lot of fun for standard, because I would say that this deck, if they do build a deck for standard for the bunny corn, I would think that it would not need that much rares to be a functional deck.
How high can this go? Like, is it what, 4 or 5? It could be like a 5/5 at most, right?
What do you mean a 5/5?
Because it says power and toughness equals to the number of non. Oh, it's
Non-land.
not tight.
There's no limit. There's no limit.
No limit.
It's not
To the
tight.
moon.
To the moon.
And
You're right.
and there's one more thing. It's
thing is, you
not
said-
legendary.
No, I know. And he said the problem is JP said Tarmogoyf, and my brain just went Tarmogoyf, but not with non-lands. Okay, so it can't be that strong. But I didn't read it was just all permanents you control, non-land permanents you control. So yeah, it's pretty strong. Yeah, because especially in this set where you have treasures, you have foods.
Food.
Yeah, it goes insane. You're right.
Yeah, it's a fun card. My
It's
second
ridiculous.
card, yeah, it is. My second card would be Virtue of Courage. Is one of those enchantment cycles, but the red one. It's 3 and 2 red enchantment. It has an adventure cost or an adventure side. It's an instant. That's Embereth Blaze. One colorless and red instant adventure deals 2 damage to any target. So it's basically shock for 1 additional mana. And then it has its enchantment ability as whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you may exile that many cards from the top of your library, and you may play those cards this turn. It looks like fun for red. I don't know.
It's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun because usually you're used to light up the stage. There's other cards I think in Yucapena that do the same thing, that you can exile the top cards of the library. Jessica's will as well. But having, even though it's a very high costed card, but having access to a card that, hey, I pinged you for 1, exile the top card.
One damage becomes a card advantage.
Exactly.
I do a
As
fireball
well-
for 6. I draw 6 cards.
Exactly. And not only that, what's his name? Nixilis. This card actually can work with Nixilis as well. So it's a win-win situation, I would say. And my final card, it's because I recently saw it in game nights, and I loved it. I think, and I explained to JP that there is a card that's kind of like stupid for this one as well. So it's Agatha of the Vile Cauldron. Is Jund, legendary creature, human warlock. Activate abilities of creatures you control cost X less to activate, where X is Agatha of the Vile Cauldron's power. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. Its own ability, that's 4 colorless and Jund. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and haste until end of turn. She's a 1/1.
Gruel. It's Gruel.
It's Gruel? My bad.
Yeah, it's Gruel.
My bad. So one of the things that I do like about this card is because there's this red card in Battle Bonds that is 2 and a red. Its activated ability is 7 and red, and it states the following: whenever you pay that mana, you can hit target player or planeswalker for 5. So if you have her as a 7/7 that costs 1, so I'll be like, hey, look, here's 5 to your face, here's 5 to your face, or I'll just tap like 4 mana and I'll hit you for 20.
There's a card, it's really expensive mana wise, it's like 8 mana. Gigantomancer, it's like an 8 mana or 7 mana 1/1, but you pay 1 mana and make any creature a 7/7.
Yeah.
Something like that could work.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards that with Agatha, it's crazy, and if you combined her with the Cauldron as well, it's stupid. It's stupid magic, I would say, for Commander.
Yeah.
Stupid magic for Commander. And then last but not least, we have our friend JP, that as well, he did mention that he has an honorable mention.
So Tough Cookie is a 1 and a green for a 2/2. When it enters, you make a food token, and you can pay 2 and a green to make a non-creature artifact of 4/4, and it's a food golem, so you can pay 2 mana to sacrifice it and gain 3 life. In Spanish, it's Repalte Torta, and that name is beautiful. It's gonna smack you. Anyways, Elevator of the Wild card. 2 green and a white. Legendary creature, human knight. Whenever Elevator of the Wild card enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token attached to another target creature you control. Virtuous rolls give +1/+1 for each other enchantment. Or for each enchantment you control. And whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So this is the box art, the box commander for the set, and I really like this guy, especially because I realized how he has legs in very high power CDH, like that, like in CDH, and by extension high power EDH, because there's a lot of like nasty pieces of hate that you could run in white green for enchantments specifically that don't get run as much because they are not creatures, but he can weaponize them to the actual creatures you're going to play anyways. So he becomes card advantage and a threatening, like a very threatening engine, especially because 4 mana 4/4 is very efficient for its cost. The next card is Talion the Kindly Lord, 2 blue and a black for a 3/4 legendary creature fairy noble, flying. As Talion enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10, and whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value, power, and toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And loses 2 life and you draw a card. You don't gain 2 life. And this card in limited, I saw it in a stream. You just name 3 and you win the game. It is stupid. In something like EDH, you just name 2. You don't really care about the mana value 2, even though it's very, very common. 2 power is probably the most common thing in a lot of things. So it is very, very good. It's almost a Ristic Study in the command zone. I think he's that good. And obviously, I'm playing a food deck. I'm playing Merry and Pippin, and this card has not appeared in my hand in any game once. But I already know it's stupid because Jaheira, friend of the forest, does a very similar effect. But this one is that effect in addition to giving me the food, in addition to being a pump effect. So it's Knight of Sweet's Revenge, 3 and a green for an enchantment. When it enters, you make a food token. Foods can tap for green mana, and you can pay 5 green to sacrifice it, and your creatures get +X, where X is the number of foods you control. Just goldfishing in the deck. I am able to make a lot of food, but generally speaking, I don't have more than 4 at a time usually. And 4 mana, plus the actual normal mana I have, then sacrificing this, giving my creatures +4/+4, then tapping Pippin, giving them sacrificing 4 foods, giving them +3/+3 and haste, +7/+7 out of seemingly nowhere is very, very strong.
I'm surprised this card isn't uncommon. That's the thing.
I know, right?
It's so good.
It does a lot. Yeah,
it does a lot, and it's I don't know.
It's the reason. The reason I know it's an uncommon is the same thing why John mentioned that a lot of creature types are getting good support.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is the way you should be doing strong cards. They are very niche. This does nothing outside of food deck, but it is very strong in a food deck. So you can power creep that food deck, but in the end, it is still a food deck, and you need to build around that food deck. And if your archetype is not strong enough, or like not built well enough, or very like you can't splash this. Yeah. It is not generically strong. It is very niche and strong, and I like that direction towards cards and commons and uncommons. I don't mind if a mythic is just generically strong. But when like your rares can be generically strong to an extent, but like when your uncommons and commons are generically strong, that's when you notice the power creep. Which also you got like a few cards in this set that generally do power creep in the bad way. Because we can talk about all the good stuff, but let's talk about the bad. There's like a divination is a 2 and a blue for a sorcery that says draw 2 cards, and they just literally printed an instant version of that at common. It was very, very crazy.
It's called Quick Study.
Yep, and quick studying.
There's another one that was like a removal spell for in green for enchantments. And artifacts was also power crept. There's a few things that are just commons that are really stupid.
Wasn't there a removal spell in white that you exiled a target non-land permanent and you give them a 1/1 instead of a 3/3?
Yes. That Stroke of Midnight is it's dang it, it's the gift card, generous gift.
Exactly, it's generous gift, but you give them.
But it gives you a 1/1.
It gives you a lesser creature, like because before it was a 3/3 elephant, now it's just a 1/1 human, which is
the thing. The sad part is that I saw this card and I was like, but I just recently got my borderless full art shiny generous gift. Why the heck am I gonna
have both now? You can have more.
Actually, thinking about it, I think I might add it in Shurikai, but I really don't know what to remove now.
It's remove the one that you just bought because this was strictly better. It's literally power crept.
Now I needed foil. Foil.
No, but JP's right. Like they are power creeping a lot of weird cards from Boomer Age of Magic. Like the divination thing really shocked me because usually divination is one of those cards you set it up as a standard for like what you do with giant spider. Like giant spider is like the baseline for something. It's like you know that for a type of creature that's like that at a common level, it's supposed to be a 2/4. It's supposed to have like one keyword. It's supposed to be costing 4 mana. You know, divination is like the very baseline, common, trashy but still decent draw spell. It's like 3 mana to draw 2 at sorcery speed. You don't go beyond that. If you do more than that, it will always cost 1 more mana because obviously you need to make it cost 1 more mana. But if you make it cost 1 more mana, it has to add benefits like Scry 2 or Surveil 2 or do whatever. But you never do a divination at instant speed because you just break your baseline completely.
No, exactly. And the thing is that again, this set is really, it's like it has a power creep, but it's not like its predecessor. You know, it's there, but it's leveled out. It's not like bonkers, like, hey, we provided you, you know, because we do have a planeswalker, is Ashiok, but Ashiok is not Oko.
Yeah, no.
It's
good, but it's not
good,
Oko.
But it's not Oko.
It's bad.
It's good. It's not that bad. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's cool. It's cool.
I think I prefer Tibalt.
No,
2 mana Tibalt. Yeah,
no. You're just hating. You're just hating now. No.
So
nothing is like Tibalt. Don't you say that.
So in all, this set is really fun. You know, I still want to play it. And when I get to play it, in one of the episodes, I will like give my final like review. I might record something very simple for the channel, for all of you, you know, just to like that you guys can see like, hey, this is the final review of Wilds of Eldraine when I get to play it. I think it seems like a great set for draft and sealed. I really do wish that I could have been part of the pre-release, but hey, you know, Commander Masters came and my wallet did poof.
Yep.
Yeah, especially investing in the Mox Diamond. So, you know, but guys, any final thoughts for your top 3 cards and the set?
Buy singles. There's a bunch of enchantments you're gonna drop in price, so go buy them. Go buy the Weeaboo versions if you want.
Honestly, buy bundles, and this is one of the few sets where I'm like, yeah, buy bundles. Just like Strixhaven, you get a lot of value with the Chanting Tales, and you might be surprised which ones you get. I saw like one of my friends was like, oh yeah, look, I got an Agatha, and then pulled the other card. It was a Necropotence, and I was like, yeah, now you got Enchanting Tales Necropotence. So there's a lot of good cards in this set, and especially if you're into Commander, a lot of the stapley cards. I'm surprised Mystic Remora isn't in one of them.
Because it got reprinted when Dominaria, so it's
Dominaria is
but Smothering Tide got reprinted again.
That's
well,
true.
I'm glad it got reprinted again because that thing was still going at 30. So
yeah,
I'm glad.
But yeah,
I'm super excited. You know, I would say like what JP said. Then you know, Orengo said buy singles, JP said buy bundles, and I'm like, hey, buy a set booster box. You know, actually just how do you say? Just promote your local game store. You know, go to your LGS and just go ahead and support them. You know, if your LGS is a good place, go ahead and go there. Enjoy. Buy them a product like that. You guys could go ahead and just, you know, get some booster packs and pull some nice cards. You know, it always brings you the goods, right? So let's go ahead. This is going to be the end of today's episode. So Orengo, where can the people find you?
You can find me here with you guys talking about cardboard. You can also find me at cinemaspodcast.com. I've been a little busy because I've been working on a short film, but now I'm going to be doing reviews very soon. So yeah, watch out for that. But JP?
You can find me here in the Cardboard Cave podcast talking about Magic. What about you, John?
So you guys can find me here in the Cardboard Cave podcast as well at realinfilms.com, where I do reviews as well. There's going to be 3 reviews that are going to be coming out this Friday. Is it this Friday? Give me one quick second.
Probably.
Not this Friday. It will be around Saturday and Monday. Around Saturday of the 3 films that I got to cover for the Toronto International Film Festival. So I'm super excited that I was part of TIFF indirectly, and some of the interviews are already live on my YouTube channel. So pass by and check it out. We do have the interview already up of the film Toll. It's a very great film. I think that one of the actresses comes out in a film that came to Puerto Rico in one of the festivals as well. So just pass by and check realinfilms.com, either the website or all of our social media. So we will see you guys in the next one.